Hello there, John Neal here. Welcome to 2021 and welcome to my backyard. This is a yard, by the way, in Britain. This isn't a garden. The garden is over here. Look, this is a garden. This isn't a yard, it's a garden. This is the yard. A yard is very utilitarian. It's a hard area. Some houses, small houses, only have a yard. That's all. They don't even have a garden. So there's a difference between a garden and a yard. So when you say yard, I know what you mean, if you're American. Anyway, thing is, today's a dull day. It's cold-ish, it's about 2-3 degrees. We had a bit of snow which looked nice, and that's gone thawed, that's gone. It's overcast, it's cold, it's January, what are we on? Oh, I don't know, I've lost me. My watch broke. It's about the 7th, isn't it? 8th, that's all it is. And it's not the middle of winter. At least we've gone past the winter solstice. The days are getting longer, which is good. Anyway, point is, what I would like to talk to you about today is my wood. My wood. I'll show you where I hang out with the wood. Here we go. This is where I'm currently storing the wood. It was stored along the fence there, but we burnt all that. It's all done. So this is a dry area where I'm keeping it for now. But unfortunately, that's all I've got left. In the UK, if you are a retired person like myself and my good lady wife, we get £100 each for winter fuel allowance, which is very nice. It's money that the government give us. Hang on a minute, it's the money that we've given the government and then they give back to us. So you get a winter fuel allowance, £100, which is very nice. But £90 will buy the big pile of wood that I do get, which is probably a bit more than that. So I've had to order some more. Whether I can get it dried out in time, I don't know. So there's a question here, two questions. One, how good is it to burn wood on a fire in the house? Is it good for the environment? Is it good for the atmosphere? And also, how do you get it dry? Turning to the internet to find out, I've just put, is burning wood good for the environment? And one website says this: well, the answer is sometimes. First thing to say on the environmental impact of wood burning stoves is that it is not a clear-cut topic. Whether wood burning stoves are eco-friendly or not depends largely on which you choose and how you use it. Well, one thing, of course, is that the carbon footprint is deemed to be neutral. And also, the problem is that it does produce smoke which has particulates in it, particularly if the wood is wet. Now, the wood burning stove I've got here, which is in this picture, is one of the modern ones which burns efficiently with a sort of a dual air intake. And as I'm showing, I'm trying to use wood which is properly dried. So I might be on safe ground. Let's hope so. And also, how do you get it dry? There's some legislation coming through saying that the wood supplier can only give us dry wood that's dry enough to burn, because if you burn wet wood, that is not a good idea. I talked to the wood yard that supply the wood. I said, what's all this about legislation about dry wood and wet wood? And he says, I don't know, I've not heard anything. Which is hilarious, really, because there was an announcement that in the new year they were going to legislate about selling wet wood, or it had to be dry, but he knows nothing about it. So if he knows nothing, he would be the one to know, not me. So talking about wet wood, it's supposed to be burned only if the moisture content is less than 20%, and in weather like this it's difficult to get it that dry. So anyway, this is my moisture meter. and let's have a look, see what we've got. Here's a piece of wood. You just stick it on there and away you go, and it says 19%, so that's just okay to burn, and it's probably best to try it on the other end as well. That's 19.3. Try it in the middle. 19.7. So that's good. However, you can sort of tell by how heavy it is and what it looks like, and that end looks a bit damp. So let's have a quick look. Whoa, 30% on the other end, because it can differ from end to end. What's this? 16.2. So maybe it just got wet one end. Let's have a look in the middle. 16.8. Right. So it needs to be kept in a place where it's nice and where air can get through. Otherwise it will go mouldy and horrible. So you can't keep it in a shed that has no air going through. It takes a few months to dry it out. Now, the other thing I can do is to store some of it next to the fire, which will allow it to dry out quite a bit actually, over a couple of days. So I'm going to do a bit of both. The wood over here, which I know is dry enough to burn, put it in the fire and burn it, and put some of the wood nearby to dry it out. And that's the plan. Let me introduce you to this wonderful book by Lars Mitting, Norwegian Wood, Chopping, Stacking and Drying Wood the Scandinavian Way. Of course, that's a nod to the Beatles, of course, and it's a wonderful book, and it tells you everything about chopping, stacking and drying wood. A whole book on it. It's brilliant. Very entertaining. Lovely book, full of different ideas and theories about how to get it cut and stacked and dried. Excellent. Right, the thing about burning wood though, it's very popular in this country. I have a theory, and that's this: there's something about a fire, a wood fire lit in the house rather than just radiators and whatever, which I think is sort of built into our genes for centuries. In winter time we relied on the fire being there, and I think we still have it within us to be attracted to the living fire, a proper fire burning in a grate. And the grates that we've got and the fire stoves that we've got are very popular. The man who puts it in for me and cleans the chimney, he and his brother have installed hundreds of them recently, and the theory was that burning wood is more environmentally friendly than certainly than burning coal. Now the coal smoke is horrible. It's sulphurous, yellowy, grey, stinky stuff, whereas wood smoke, I love wood smoke. It smells, I can go back into my childhood and I smelt wood smoke from, I don't know, it's just beautiful. So there's something about it, don't know what it is, but I like wood smoke. So I like a wood fire, everybody's happy. But it does release the carbons that are in the wood, and that's all. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I've heard both stories, we'll see. The house, by the way, is double glazed. We've got insulation between the brick. It's a brick built house, and there's two skins of brick and insulation in the middle of it. We got the insulation put in. The double glazing wasn't original either. The radiators have been in, actually they've been renewed, but they were in there when the house was built in the 1960s. But the previous house we had, by the way, which was built, what, 1980s, didn't have central heating at all. It had a gas fire, and we had to have another portable fire that plugged in the wall upstairs. It's a small house, but not all houses had central heating, even within my lifetime. So When I was a kid, in fact, my house, we didn't have central heating at all, and never did. We just had a fire in the living room. We burnt coke, which is a derivative of coal. Anyway, the air pollution has been improved no end since coal's not burnt anymore. But as to heat the house, we do actually need the wood fire going in the house to complete the heating up of the house. The heat comes from a combi boiler now. It's a gas boiler. It's upstairs on the wall. The water goes in, and as it's needed, it is then heated up and by gas, and then pumped around the house either for the hot water system or for the radiators. There's no tank, a header tank of any sort, no storage tank. We did have those up until just 10 years ago, or maybe 15, but the popular way of doing it now is to have these combi boilers where the water is heated up as you need it with a gas boiler. However, it seems that they are now out of fashion as well, and the thinking is that eventually they will go and we'll have to heat the house by some other means. There is a lot of talk about heat coming from the ground, where you sink a distance down to get a different temperature and then somehow extract the heat and bring it up and heat the house that way, or indeed use renewable energies. Maybe it could be wind power, which will produce electricity to heat the house. But I'm hoping that there is some way that we can maintain the idea of having a wood fire, because I love them. They're great. It's like candles, fires. We just like it. It's comforting, particularly in horrible, cold, damp days like today. This song, by the way, is one that I wrote. A friend of mine said, when I said, "Oh, the weather's horrible," she said, "Yeah, but it's only the weather." So I thought, ah, yes, it's only the weather's horrible, not us or the day or whatever. So the weather may be poor, but we don't have to succumb to it. Right. Ooh, I think it gets dark at about 4 o'clock around here. The latitude we're on in England here is about 52 degrees north. If you're 52 degrees north in other countries, let's say like the USA and Canada, isn't it the 49th parallel? So we're on a level with Montreal or somewhere where it freezes solid. But we don't get that because we get the Gulf Stream. Thank you, people in Florida and places like that, because you get your Gulf Stream, you wrap it up, you send it over the Atlantic, and we benefit from it. In fact, there are places on our west coast which get it first, even up in Scotland, which are quite mild most of the year round. But it benefits us because we don't get desperately cold. In fact, we've had a bit of snow this year, and we may not get much more. So thanks. I'm getting some more wood next week, so I've prepared the way to store it. Bit of a task just to shift it and get it around the back here. Anyway, keep warm.
You know it's only the weather, and I feel fine today. You know it's only the weather, you keep the cold away. I don't mind if it rains or snows, if I'm alone with you. You warm my every moment, my skies are always blue. You know it's only the weather, and I feel fine today. You know it's only the weather, you keep the cold away. I don't mind the fog and the damp, you keep the rain away. Your face, it beams like sunshine, You brighten up my day. You know it's only the weather, and I feel fine today. You know it's only the weather. You keep the cold away.